I have a large photo collection that consists of over 40,000 photographs. Those photographs are organized into over 1,600 folders. I'm currently in the process of uploading these folders full of photos to Screencast so I can share them with others if appropriate. This is the existing photos library folder on Screencast. Right now there are a little over 500 subfolders that I've been able to upload so far. That means I'm only about a third of the way through, and I've invested a little over 50 man hours in uploading those 500 subfolders. Although I've been extremely careful in executing the uploads, I need to do a little validation to make sure that all the local folders have been properly uploaded to Screencast. Because Screencast does not give you any numeric accounting of how many subfolders you have in a library folder, it's not easy to tell whether or not I may have missed uploading a folder or two while going through this process. In order to do this quality control validation, I have to proceed along a very complicated route. First thing I need to do is to do a Snagit scrolling capture of this UI display of the photos folder in order to grab all these items. It's unfortunate that the folder names that are actually on these folders do not show completely, and that's because these items are simply too narrow. The app allows for up to 100 characters in width, but it's only showing about 22. So you can't just look at these and see what the whole name is. That would make this process even easier, but I have to live with this 4 across and how many down you need to go. So what I'm going to do is open an instance of Snagit and make sure that it's configured for a panoramic scrolling capture. I'll now execute that scrolling capture using my shortcut, Control Print Screen. I'll mark off the area that I want to grab. I'll execute the start button, and now I'll scroll down slowly. At the end of the scroll, I'll click Done. Okay, that capture's been assembled in the editor. I'm going to right-click and execute Grab Text. Now I'll do a copy all. Close this. Now I'm going to open up an instance of Notepad++. And I'm going to paste what I copied there. Control V. And we'll navigate to the top. Now there are some funny characters I need to get rid of at the beginning of these because of the images that were captured. So I'm going to do that with a macro. And I'll start recording, and I'll do a delete, down, and then I will stop recording. Now I want to run that throughout this whole file to get rid of all those leading things if I can. So we'll do macro, run it multiple times to the end of the file, run, cancel. We'll go back to the top. And now I have to make some corrections manually, it looks like. So off camera, I'll go through and clean this up where it needs to be finished off manually. Okay, I finished cleaning up the beginning of all those lines of text. I'll scroll forward and make sure that we all start now on to the left with a number. I'm going to point out also that they are not always in the correct order. They're going to need to be in ascending order, but the grab text, because of the layout they were on the page, will mess them up a little bit, so I'm going to have to fix the sort order in a later step. But I'm going to make sure that they all look like they've been cleaned up. That they all look pretty good. I'm going to disregard these 3 dots trailing here. I could do a macro to clean them up, but it won't affect what I'm going to be doing. So now with these things cleaned up, it's Control A, Control C to get them to my clipboard. Now to fix the sort order with all this stuff on my clipboard, I'm going to go to a third-party application, and I'm going to click on the app, and I have this function here I can work with. With it selected, I'll just do a Control V, and that pastes all those guys there. This is kind of being used as a scratch pad. And I'm going to say, yes, fix the sort order, which is the alphabetical. If we go to the last, you see the last one here starts with 0, 0, 0, 0. That should actually start at the beginning. But to fix that, I can open this, do a sort A to Z, puts it at the top, and there's a function here that lets me fix the show order numbering, and I choose no here. I don't want to reorder before. I don't want to reorder the list before renumbering, so I do that, and when it's finished, what was last is now first, and if you check through it, you'll find all these things in the right order. Since they're in the right order, it's select this column, Control C. You go back into Notepad++, and what I'll do is call up a new file, Control N, and I'm pasted in there, it's Control V, and now I will give it a name, Control S, and I'll call it from SC text. Now what I'm going to do is open up Explorer, and I'm going to go up one level on the folder collection. I'm going to right click, and I have an option here to do Beyond Compare, and I'll make a open for compare for that file, and it opens up that file and shows me all the subfolders in it. And what I want to do now is save this as a session report. So we'll go Save, Folder Compare Report, and I just need the titles, put it on my clipboard. Once again, we'll go back to Notepad++, and back in Notepad, I'm going to do another new file, paste what I got from the report, and I want to do a little cleanup work here, so I'm going to get rid of this trailing stuff, delete key, Control Home, and I'll get rid of the header stuff here that's not part of my work, delete that. Now I want to save this as a file, and this will be from Explorer, Save, Overwrite. Now we'll go back to Explorer. I'll go to that working folder, right-click on the Explorer listing, select left file for compare, right-click, Beyond Compare, and compare it to the other side. Opens them both up. And now I can look at this and I can see, because I'm looking for blanks and hatch marks, I'll explain that later, that it appears that so far I've uploaded those files correctly. Oscar, Oscar, family, family, etc. Now here's a hatch and a hatch, and it says here that this file doesn't seem to exist over here, and that's okay, because I see that file in Explorer had TIFF images, which I did not bother to upload. So that error is okay. I'll just ignore it. Here's another hatch, and that says that another TIFF file wasn't uploaded. So I don't have to worry about that. I'll keep scrolling down, looking for any issues left and right, comparing left to right or Explorer to Screencast. I can see so far things are looking good. Here's another TIFF scan, don't have to worry about it. Another missing file. But in looking at it, I can see that this file here is lined up incorrectly with this. They're off by one level, but I know that's okay. So I have to go through this and manually look this over very carefully to see if there's any folders on the left in Explorer that I did not manually upload to Screencast. I'm not going to worry about resolving that right now, but this is the process that I have to go through. And this is pretty tedious and very demanding as you look it over. The biggest problem in doing this is that the Screencast.com, because of the layout on the page, all the titles are truncated. So you can't read the full titles because the titles that were on the folders in Explorer are the same that I use on the subfolders on Screencast, but because it only displays 22 characters, are always cut off. So that makes this process very, very hard. Again, that's why it would be very, very valuable if Screencast would produce this listing with the full folder name shown as an option so I could use it in a procedure like I'm explaining here. Now, I'll also point out that sometimes there are issues here because grab text did not get the text properly or maybe missed some lines of text completely. So this is a very hit or miss approach. It's all I got right now to work with. But again, if Screencast could put out an accurate list report of what's in that folder by title, that would make this job so much easier. Now, before I sign off, I have two fairly close hatch marks. The first one, we have a file in Explorer, didn't show up in this location. However, shows missing here, but it's here, and this are exactly the same file. So I know that this particular folder right there in Explorer did in fact get uploaded, and that's this one here. Now I can force alignment by clicking here, going to F7 and beyond compare, and then clicking on this, and bang, they're lined up, and that's exactly where they should be. And it looks like this one and this one are the same, but they're not aligned, so we'll select this, F7, click that, and that took care of that. So anyhow, that's the process. Enormous amounts of labor, tedious, error-prone, and I'm at the mercy of working with these truncated folder names and the accuracy of the grab text process.